I tell you what, getting tag-teamed here this morning on Houston's Morning News. Political insiders Chris Begala and Jim Mcgrath are joining me. Gentlemen, welcome to the show. Great to have you both on with us this morning.
Top of the morning.
And let's start with Governor Rick Perry. I'll start with you, Chris. Your thoughts? He's calling up governors in New Hampshire and Iowa. Does this send messages to guys like you and Jim, Chris, that the governor is indeed going to begin to look at running for the presidency?
Well, you know what, Matt? I've been saying for well over a month that I think Rick Perry is definitely running. And I'll tell you what, he got some pretty good news just yesterday. Zogby, the national respected polling firm, came out with a poll among all Republican candidates, even ones that haven't announced, like Chris Christie, the New Jersey governor. Rick Perry is number one with a bullet in the Zogby poll with 21 points. Behind him is Michelle Bachmann with 15. Mitt Romney all the way down in single digits at 8%. Let me tell you what. I said that when Perry announced he'd have a 7-point lead. I'm going to tell you this. Yeah. I think he announces in late July before the prayer event here in Houston, and he's going to have double-digit lead in the Republican primary race. This is pretty impressive.
Chris, let me ask Jim now. Jim, you and I talked about the fact that he's kind of distancing himself from George W. Bush. How do you see Perry now? Will he run for president, do you think? Is he sending these signals?
You know, I think the way Governor Perry has approached this potential run-up to a potential candidacy shows that he's taking the process very seriously. He's done the due diligence that you would expect of a top-tier presidential contender. He's doing that, what Ross Perot said, measure twice and cut once. And he's putting himself in position to run, and he's done a far more effective job, if I may say, than former Governor Sarah Palin, who I think is kind of nakedly taking the opportunity to get media, build up the name ID, but I don't think anybody thinks that she's enhanced her credibility the way Rick Perry has in the way he's approached this potential run-up to a candidacy. I don't know if he's going to run. At the end of the day, he's put himself into position, and that's a job well done.
All right, gentlemen, hang on for me because and you say naked and Sarah Palin in the same sentence, Jim. My mind wanders. I apologize for that. Gentlemen, hang on. We're going to take a quick break here for traffic and weather. Going to come back. I'm going to ask you about the fear-monger-in-chief and what you make of his latest comments.
You're back with more Matt Patrick.
KTRH News Time 722. We are joined by political insiders for KTRH, Chris Begala and Jim Mcgrath. Gentlemen, welcome back. Take a listen to this, then I'm going to ask you for your thoughts.
I cannot guarantee that those checks go out on August 3rd if we haven't resolved this issue, because there may simply not be the money in the coffers to do it.
Jim Mcgrath, we'll start with you, sir. Fear-mongering, yes or no?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It's amazing to me, 2.5 years into his presidency, Barack Obama is still incapable of taking responsibility for and demonstrating critical leadership on the big issues facing our country, this being the most recent example. Look, when we wake up on August 3rd, whether or not we get a deal, there's going to be resources in the Treasury enough to cover Social Security checks. So if seniors are not going to get those checks, it's because Barack Obama chose not to send it to them. It's him that's throwing them under the bus, not the Republicans who are trying to, restore some fiscal sanity in Washington, D.C.
Chris Begala, what do you say, sir?
Not only is it hack political rhetoric, it's an outright lie. He's a liar. Those checks will go out, and what we're seeing here is a president who has a failed record, who cannot run on what the biggest issue is the economy, because he has completely screwed the pooch by spending all these trillions of dollars. So he is going to rip this country apart, and he's already doing it among economic lines. Rich are terrible, you poor people, boy, I'm going to try to protect you, and he'll do it along racial lines as well. This is the last example. This is hack partisan politics, and people are sick of it.
I love having you guys on. Mcgrath talks about a naked Sarah Palin, and you use the expression "screw the pooch."
That's a technical term.
I mean, this is perfect, gentlemen. I appreciate your time here today. I've got one more quick soundbite I want to play for you and get your thoughts real quick if I can. Take a listen. listen.
I have little question that as long as this president is in the Oval Office, a real solution is probably unattainable.
Real quick, Chris, tell me your thoughts on McConnell's statement.
You know, so far I'm impressed with Mitch McConnell, and I'm impressed with John Boehner and Marco Rubio and other Republican leaders. The last few days, they have been put to the test as to where they stand on this debt limit and no increased taxes. So I'm impressed with the Republican leadership over the last few days.
And, Jim, real quick, your thoughts on McConnell's statement.
Well, he's right. I mean, where's the president's plan? Where was the president's plan on health care? Where's the president's plan on anything? The guy gets away with not having to commit himself to anything. Whatever comes out of the Congress, he dances around it. So hats off to him for pointing out the obvious.
KTRH political insiders and guys that could actually go on tour as a comedy act, I think, at some point. Chris Begala and Jim Mcgrath. Gentlemen, thanks again so much for your time. We sure appreciate it.